Field, Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, talking Miami football. We got Dwayne Holloway on the line. He is the wholesome one. You got to check out his YouTube channel on Miami Football Talk. It's the wholesome one here on YouTube. And of course, lock it in here at Mark Rogers TV, where we deliver the best in discussion, debate, and analysis on college football each and every day. The wholesome one, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm blessed to see another day, and I'm excited to talk Canes football back on Mark Rogers TV.
All right. Good to have you, too. And as always, they were back on the field today, and based on our conversation before we started to record, and I had 2 outtakes before we started to record, your thoughts, even on today's practice that you're already digging into?
Well, first of all, I have to give 100% respect to StateOfTheView.com. They have been the ones who have been given a lot of credit and also been giving us a lot of great inside info on practice. So that's where I'm reading this article from and getting my information from to give them their credit. But on this article, it just talks about how N'Kosi Perry is kind of taking that next step. And it has been day to day. A different quarterback might take that next step. And Mark, it is truly making this quarterback battle all that we were expecting it to be. It goes from one player having a bad day to, N'Kosi Perry had a great Saturday. But this past Tuesday, he didn't have a good practice. But Tate Martell had that day of a great practice. So it's making the competition better, and it's forcing them to be prepared to be consistent every single day. And Dan Enos isn't accepting anything but perfection. He isn't accepting anything except for greatness. And it is making every single one of the men in this battle so much better. And we're very excited for what that could bring to the University of Miami in the fall. But about today's practice, N'Kosi Perry dropped some dimes today. One play in particular was a seam route against cover 2, where he hit a 65-yard bomb to Will Mallory. And that's shades of what happened with the bomb to Brevin Jordan against Florida State this past fall. So N'Kosi Perry's arm strength is not the thing that we are worried about. We wouldn't even say worried. Just the one thing that he would have to focus on is his accuracy and consistency. And I think that's something that all young men in college football have to focus on at the quarterback position. But N'Kosi Perry is doing his best to put his best foot forward.
It's about this time of year and also in August camp, but more so in the spring, because obviously there isn't the urgency and there's a little bit more experimentation at this point in the process and getting ready for game 1 in the fall. In August, it's bam, we are down to it. We're making decisions for sure. But that I find it amusing that every little bit of information that comes out of spring practice, the fan base grabs it, runs with it, and makes some pretty quick judgments. If we hear that a quarterback threw a red zone interception in a schematic situational kind of practice or situation that, that's blown out of proportion, well, he's out. Or I know that in the first couple of days, what we heard out of the quarterback battle was Jaron Williams with the exceptional arm talent. We heard about Tate Martell maybe fluttering a few passes, maybe doesn't have. I can't imagine that this kid has been recruited by everybody in the country, signed by Ohio State, and is in this competition if he doesn't have capable arm talent. It may not be elite. I'm sure it's not based on what I've heard and what I've seen, but a few passes flutter and everybody goes crazy, and I'm hearing all over the place that he's overhyped and he's out. And there's just a bit of an overreaction typically when we get some news out of those first few days of practice.
Absolutely. And I take it back to and comparing, not necessarily comparing the programs, but, Alabama, when they were having a battle between Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, everybody it was a little bit close-lipped, as opposed to here at Miami, but everybody just wanted that little itch, like who's going to be the guy and who had the better practice today, and really getting on Nick Saban about who did what, and they were even saying, well, who is the team more excited about, just to try to get a little bit out of him. But Danny knows coming from that quarterback competition, I think now is one of the best things moving forward for the U, because he has seen what greatness is. He's coached it. He's been in the room with it. He's seen the tendencies. And he's one of those coaches that are very blunt and open in interviews to a certain extent when it comes to what the quarterbacks are doing right and what they're doing wrong. And he has spoken about as early as Tuesday, speaking about what each quarterback was bringing to the table, and not necessarily saying what they don't bring to the table, but saying that the things that they had to work on and who was having the better day. And I think it's kind of putting them all in notice. You know, it's a little bit of an ego check as far as you guys are good, but there's a level that I want to hold you up to, and then there's a level that you are. And there's a distance between both of those right now. And I want to see everyone take the next step. And it hasn't been to the championship level in which Dan Enos wants just yet. But I do agree that all of us, you know, media, fans, we get a little tweet and we try to take that tweet 100 miles. You know, someone says, you know, a great day today, and they say, oh, he's going to be the starting quarterback. But it doesn't always work that way.
We are on the line with a wholesome one. So to get that straight, everyone, that's HOLSUM, HOLSUM, the wholesome one, the number one, and check him out on YouTube for more Miami college football analysis. And the wholesome one is kind enough to join us on a fairly regular basis to break it down right here. So if you scan the field, scan the other positional units, what really catches your eye? What's intriguing to you? Where are the storylines? The
storylines right now, and I love to hear this because I wish I could have early enrollees, would be our two early enrollees of Jafari Harvey and also Jeremiah Payton. Both players wear number 12. Jafari Harvey is a defensive end, edge rusher type body. And Jeremiah Payton is a future great number one wide receiver for us. And both these young men are 17 years old. They're not even, you know, physically, you know, adults legally yet. But they have come in. They have been matured. They have been, you know, even as far as getting chewed out and just saying, yes, coach, and going back and doing exactly what the coach asked them to do. Those are things that Coach Manny Diaz has even noticed as a head coach. And then both their position coaches have broken it down and said, these two guys, it's so exciting to see young men come in with the mindset and maturity that they have. I even talked about Jeremiah Payton months ago in the recruiting process, saying that I believed he would be a great player because instead of him having offers from all over the world, being a number 6 wide receiver in the country, instead of him flirting with different institutions, going on all these visits, once he sat down and said that he was committed to University of Miami, he actually was 100%. Didn't go on another visit, shut it down, could not wait until he signed early, couldn't wait to come in for early enrollee, and has been a mature, hardworking young man. And we need more and more guys like that in our program. And the storyline right now is the early enrollees, and also defensive line versus offensive line. Of course, that's every year. But right now, we had a couple of a switch up on the offensive line. So the right guard and right tackle, and Navon Donaldson and Scaife have moved to the left side. And Corey Gaynor has been promoted to the starting center. And Hillary and John Campbell, who are both tackles, are now Hillary at right guard and John Campbell at right tackle. But what Butch Berry, our offensive line coach, is doing is seeing where these guys can play well at. So he's interchanging. You might be at guard, you might be at tackle, might be on the left, might be on the right. And the offensive line hasn't been doing as well as the defensive line, but they have been progressing in practice. And that's something that we are closely monitoring, because the offensive line, as it does every year, will be a huge impact on where our team can be in the fall.